Hello and welcome back to Art Talk. And today, with the help of a friend of mine, whom we'll call Vincent, I'm going to show you an activity that can take advantage of your imagination as well as the city that's all around you. And during this period of confinement, when we're not leaving our houses that much, we could look out the window and be inspired by the shape of our city as we see it. And so I think that's the project that we're going to work on today. So to get started, you can open up the window and look out and see the shapes of the city that are around you. It might be the other houses in your neighborhood. Maybe you live outside the city and you can see some trees or rock formation. I live in downtown Toronto, and so I can see the top of the CN Tower and some big buildings. You can also go around the house and see if you have some books that might depict cities that you visited or that maybe you want to visit someday. And you can maybe use the shape of some of the buildings that you see in these books. And this is one on Paris and another one on New York City with lots of tall buildings and very recognizable buildings that maybe some of you have seen in movies or maybe that you have visited yourself, and some parts of the city that are maybe similar to what you might see in big urban cities anywhere. And we use the word urban to describe cities or places where a large number of people live, and the opposite, the word we use for places that are less populated and that have lots of greenery and fields and trees, is rural. And I have another book here that looks at Toronto and a woman named Jane Jacobs, who was an activist who fought very hard to keep the spaces in the city green. And you can see in this book some parts of New York City where Jane worked hard to keep the spaces green. And then when she moved to Toronto, you can see Toronto City Hall. So look around the house, talk to your family and get maybe some photographs from other travels, and find a cityscape or some lines that show the city. And what we're going to do is you'll need some construction paper and some chalk or chalk pastels, a pair of scissors or an X-Acto knife. And if you're going to work with scissors or an X-Acto knife, make sure that you have mom or dad or an adult at home that will let you use them on your own, or else will help you with the cutting that you need to do. And we might need a little bit of tape for our activity as well. And the first thing you're going to do is just trace out on a piece of paper, and maybe use chalk or use a pencil, the kinds of shapes that you see or that you're inspired by for your art project, and just trace them all across a rectangle of paper like that. The next thing that you're going to do is, with either your scissors or an X-Acto knife, again, making sure that you can use them on your own, is cut out all those shapes that you see. And so there's the shape of my city. You can see it against the black, like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to place another piece of paper behind it, and then we're going to put a little bit of chalk, etch a little bit of chalk all along these different lines until it builds up and creates almost a little bit of dust. And the second thing that we'll do, once we've we've collected a little bit of that dust, so you'll have something that looks like this. And I've used different colors of chalk, and there's a lot of dust on there. I'm going to then take it and put it onto my other piece of paper, and with my hand, I'm going to sweep up and brush the chalk dust off so that it leaves an impression on the paper behind it. And I'll give you an example here of this one. It could end up looking something like that when I pull away my shape. And then what I have is the outline of the shapes here in my negative space, and the positive space has become all of this color. And so we're going to look a little bit at what do we mean by positive and negative space and create your cityscape. So I'm going to let you get to work. First thing you need to do is get inspired, find something to look at or a book. Second thing is, with your piece of construction paper, trace out the contour of your city and then cut it out. And then you're going to place that on another piece of paper. Add chalk all on the little contours here, and then brush that chalk up toward the sky to create your cityscape. And then we'll come back and talk about our creations, give them a name, and learn a little bit more about what we mean by positive and negative space. Have fun.